Dr. Jessica Ash here. Today I want to talk about what it means if you have come into new money. If your family has worked really hard in the last 10 to 20 years and suddenly become wealthy, congratulations. It's a very exciting moment in the trajectory of your family's history. That being said, I work with many children of such families, and I have noticed a trend that I would love to change direction. Some of these very wealthy children, they have been given everything by their parents. Understandably, their parents had to struggle, and these parents don't want their children to struggle for anything. These parents probably didn't have a car growing up, so if they can, they buy the finest vehicle possible for their children. We're not talking about a new phenomena here, even though we're talking about new money. Socrates first spoke about it over 1,000 years ago. When people first come into money, they're so excited that they kind of forget how they earned their money in some sense. It's like a psychological glitch. And the reason they became wealthy is probably because they had to struggle when they were younger. And certainly you don't want your children to struggle in the same way that you did. But I have to tell you that children learn through struggle. So what I see here in the US often are, I'll give you some examples. There was one student who has had a Maserati, and he had a driver's license. He had a friend who had never driven a car ever. These are teenagers. So the student with the Maserati loaned the car to the student who never drove a car. Within 100 feet of being on the road, that student plowed the Maserati into a minivan with 2 parents and 4 children, sending all 6 people to the hospital. Now, we're very lucky that those people ended up okay, but that accident certainly sidelined that entire family for a very long time. And let's go back to the student who actually had a driver's license and 10 minutes earlier had a $150,000 car. Now they don't have a $150,000 car. If you raise your children not to understand the value of money, they are going to destroy your wealth, and you won't know why. But beyond that, they won't grow up to understand what it means to struggle. And so it's fairly common in the US to see a lot of 18-year-olds drive a lot of like old Toyotas. And that's actually designed that way. I had a friend, this was not an international student, it was a friend in a high school. His parents gave him a BMW. They were wealthy and they were very proud of their son's accomplishments. He did very well in school. He put 4 other people in that car one Friday night and drove it into a tree. Of course, it was an accident, but it doesn't really matter because all 5 of them have been dead for the past 30 years. And this plays out again and again in history. I would love to give a message to parents who have recently acquired wealth. Let your children struggle. Let them earn things. It can be as easy as make them cut an onion. If they're 13 years old, they can cut an onion while you're making dinner. I'm not talking about a lot of work. I'm just talking about an appreciation for what has to happen in a household for success. To use the simple example I gave you, if the student's cutting an onion and you're making dinner, you guys are talking about your day. It could be 5 minutes. And that student is learning the difference between dice, chop, and mince. And then they've contributed something little to the meal. And then you can take them out for ice cream or whatever to give them a reward. So give them a task and a reward. And this is a very simple way to help keep children growing in their understanding of the responsibility involved with not just money, but vehicles and life in general. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the subject. Feel free to type them in the chat down below. Click on the bell icon for more videos, and I'd love it if you subscribed. Thanks.